Hi class, this is Miss Lee, and today we're going to talk about coordinate graphing. This is actually the first video out of 2. Please make sure that you have your notes. Pause the video when necessary so that you can get everything in your notes. If you don't have your notes, you'll need to take notes either in your journal or on a sheet of paper. Okay, let's get started. In mathematics, points are located on what we call a coordinate plane. Now, you're used to graphing on a coordinate plane. However, you're only used to graphing in this section of the coordinate plane. There are actually 4 sections. In elementary school, you only dealt with positive numbers, and this is the section that deals with positive x values and y values. So this is what you're used to. This year, we're going to learn to graph in all parts of the coordinate plane. So the coordinate plane. The coordinate plane is formed when 2 number lines intersect at their 0 points. So here are 2 number lines. You have the horizontal number line, which is called the x-axis. It's our traditional number line, the one that we're used to graphing numbers on. Then we have what we call the vertical number line. This is the y-axis. And this one looks kind of like the number line you would use if you wanted to plot temperatures, like a thermometer. And where the 2 number lines intersect, they intersect at their 0 points. And this is called the origin. The origin. So if you'll notice, the 2 number lines have created 4 different sections. These are called quadrants. And the quadrants are labeled or numbered, and we use Roman numerals. So the quadrant you're most familiar with has been quadrant 1. Then we have quadrant 2 as you move to the left. You go down to quadrant 3, and then you go to the right to quadrant 4. And these numbers are specific for these quadrants. So to help us remember how the quadrants are labeled, you can use the big C. Draw a big C on your coordinate plane. Where you start your C, that's quadrant 1. And as you move and go to the left, you go into quadrant 2, down into quadrant 3, and then finally you end in quadrant 4. The big C stands for coordinate plane. It will help you remember how to number your quadrants. If I were to plot this point and ask you which quadrant is this point in, we'll call it point M, you would say quadrant 1. I said, okay, what about point P? This would be quadrant 3. So what quadrant do you think point R is in? Is it in quadrant 1 or is it in quadrant 2? It's actually not in a quadrant. It is on the y-axis. So if you were asked what quadrant this is, you would need to say there's no quadrant or none, or just say y-axis. The same thing is true if you were to have point B. Point B, it's not in quadrant 1 and it's not in quadrant 4. It lies on the x-axis. So there is no quadrant. You can just write x-axis. Okay, so how do we graph ordered pairs? An ordered pair tells the location of a specific point on the coordinate plane. And an ordered pair is written inside parentheses with the x coordinate first, comma, y coordinate. This is how you write an ordered pair. If you do not have the parentheses or the comma separating the x from the y coordinates, you have not written an ordered pair. First thing you're going to do is you're going to start at your origin. And the origin, the ordered pair for the origin is 0, 0. And we learned on the previous page that the origin is right here where the 2 number lines intersect. Then you're going to go the distance and direction of your x coordinate. The x comes first. Just like in the alphabet, x comes before y. So the x is going to come first, and you're going to move either to the right if it's positive or to the left if it's negative. From there, you're going to go the distance and direction of your y coordinate. The y coordinate comes second, just like it comes behind the x in the alphabet. And you're going to move either up if it's positive or down if it's negative. So I've got some ordered pairs here, and you can actually tell by looking at the ordered pair which quadrant it's going to lie on. So let's take a look to see how that works. Our first ordered pair. The x-coordinate, which is the first number, is positive. The y-coordinate, which is the second number, is also positive. And this is what you've been working with, all positive numbers. So that's going to be in quadrant 1. Here, x's are positive, y's are positive. That's quadrant 1. So let's go ahead and graph it. We're going to start at the origin. I'm going to move over to 2, and then I'm going to go up 5 lines to right here. And where the 2 lines intersect, that's where you plot your point. So I'm going to change colors and we'll do the next example. This time our x is negative and our y is positive. So looking on the x number line, the negatives are to the left of 0 and the positive y's are still above 0. So this would be quadrant 2. This point would lie in quadrant 2. So let's graph it. Start at your origin. We're going negative 2 units, so that's to the left. And then we're going to go up 5 units. And where the 2 lines intersect is where you're going to plot your point. In our third example, both the x-coordinate and the y-coordinate are negative. So my negative again for x is to the left of 0, and my negative y's are below 0. So this point would fall in this quadrant, which is quadrant 3. So let's graph the ordered pair. Start at your origin. We're going to move left to negative 2 because that's your x-coordinate, and the y-coordinate is at negative 5. So we need to go down until we get to negative 5, and where the 2 intersect is where you plot your point. And then our last ordered pair is 2, negative 5. The x-coordinate is positive and the y-coordinate is negative. So our x's that are positive are to the right of 0 and our negative y's are below 0. So it's going to fall in this quadrant right here, which is quadrant 4. Let's go ahead and plot it. Start at your 0. We're going to move to the right to positive 2, and then we're going to go down to negative 5. And where the 2 lines intersect is where you plot your point. And that's how you graph an ordered pair. And you can also tell which quadrant by looking at the signs of your x and y coordinates. And now you're ready for your independent practice. Okay, the first part of your independent practice, you're going to identify the letter of the point for each ordered pair and then identify the quadrant it belongs in. So your letter is going to go to the left of your ordered pair, and then the quadrant, and I'm going to abbreviate here, quad, is going to go to the right. So your first ordered pair is negative 3, 5. So use what we've learned about plotting points. Start at your origin and find the point where negative 3, 5 would be. Put the point letter and then determine the quadrant. When you have your answer, come back and check. Okay, let's see how you did. The point negative 3, 5 is located at point M, letter M, which is in quadrant 2. If you make your big C, quadrant 2. Go ahead and try the next example, 0, negative 4. Pause the video, come back when you have your answer. Okay, 0, negative 4 is located at point Q, which is on the y-axis. So when you start at the origin right here, you're not moving on the x-axis. Remember, x comes first. This is your x-coordinate. It stays at 0. But on the y-axis, you're going to move down to negative 4. Kind of like riding an elevator, either up or down. We're going to go down, which is at point Q. And because it's on the y-axis, it's not in a quadrant. Okay, try the third one. Pause the video, come back and check. Okay, the ordered pair, negative 6, 0, lies at point R, which is on the x-axis. Okay, so again, you start at your origin. This time we're moving to negative 6, which is to the left, but our y-coordinate is 0. It doesn't move. It doesn't go up. It doesn't go down. It stays right where it is, which is on the x-axis and not in a quadrant. Hope those didn't trick you. Okay, the next 4 examples, you're going to identify the ordered pair for the following points. Okay, so this time, you're given the point, and you're going to write the ordered pair, and you need to write it just like you see here, inside parentheses with a comma separating. The x is always going to go first, followed by the y coordinate. Go ahead and pause the video and write the ordered pair for point P. Okay, point P is located at -2, 4. So here is point P. When you started from the origin, you moved over to -2 and up to 4. You could actually draw the lines. Where does it cross the x-axis? At -2. Where does it cross the y-axis? At 4. -2, 4. Go ahead and try to find the ordered pair for point W. Point W is down here. Come back and check. Okay, point W is at, 8, -7. +8, -7. Go ahead and try for point B, which is over here on the left side. Come back and check when you have your answer. Point B is located at -9, -1. And try the last one, point S. S is right here. Okay, point S is located at 0, 7. It's on the y-axis. It's not in a quadrant, is it? You start at the origin, and you'll notice that you don't move left or right at all. So the x-coordinate is 0. You're just going to move up to the 7. Great job.